Hey folks, I am back finally with 5 more great games. Welcome to our show, and with me today is Jenn Bartlett, the board game librarian. Welcome to the show.
Excellent to be here with you, Tom. I'm live in the library. What more? How more stereotypical could I be? Really?
You know, this is just so. I get a really big kick out of going to the library. So like just seeing you in the library is that's like to me as good as going to a game store. We just had a new library built here in Homestead called the what's it called? The Cybrarium. The Cybrarium. It's like some funky, they're trying to say they have computers and virtual reality, but the whole thing's decorated steampunk too, which is very odd. What I like though is every time I borrow a book from it, the book is brand new because the whole library is new, which is a fascinating. It won't last, but it's good for now.
No, that's awesome. There's a library close to us, and when they did a remodel, we have Pratt & Whitney up here. So for those who are, and we have Sikorsky too. So for those who are enthusiasts of airplanes, they have a lot of like airplane-based stuff. Going into the children's room, it's like a runway.
Yeah.
So it's very, very cool.
Man.
Yeah, I know. So there might be random people, folks. You get to see live from the library. Woo!
Libraries are awesome. If you like libraries, get off the channel. No, that's not true, maybe, but libraries are fantastic. All right, folks, this is 5 more great games, and in what we do in this is I take a look at 5 games that I like quite a bit that did not make my top 100, but every year, obviously, fewer games make it to the top 100, or more games don't make it. All I know is that Jenn has played one of these 5 games, but maybe not. Maybe all of them. I really doubt that. But we'll see. And I'm going to guess which ones. And if not, I'll try to convince her to play them maybe. And we'll see. So we're going to jump right in to one of the biggest of the games. And that is Descent Journeys in the Dark 2nd Edition. This is a re-implementation of Descent, the 1st edition. Obviously, they didn't call it the 1st edition. And then Star Wars Imperial Assault came after this. And in fact, there's a 3rd edition coming out. Who knows when? Sometime this year.
Yeah.
And this is a role-playing in a box type game. I think they did a really good job with this one. I just realized I haven't played it for like 5 years. Well, maybe sooner than that. But it's been a while. I might start playing it with my kids.
This is one that
I'm going to guess if you've played it.
Oh, yes.
It seems too big for the library, so I'll say no.
This was actually one of our first Fantasy Flight games in our house.
Oh, well. I'm having a good start here. I'm back, everybody!
So Descent, I think my mother actually bought it for us for Christmas one year, and my husband started painting some of the minis, and he didn't end up finishing it. Actually, there's a library-related story. When we had events in the flesh, one of our participants, he and his wife had done like the entire 2nd edition campaign, all of the expansions. They had done the entire thing from start to finish, and I was like,
so do you play this 2-player?
Yeah, I think they had done it 2-player. I don't. My husband and I looked at each other and we're like, are we going to do the 3rd edition? Because we'd already been there with Game of Thrones LCG.
Well, that's what I'm asking though, Jenn. So have you played the 2nd edition 2-player?
Yeah.
So who's the Overlord?
My husband was the Overlord.
Who wins more?
Oh, definitely him.
Interesting. Because I play as the Overlord and I always lose.
I think I was playing 2 or 3 characters at the time, and this had been like our winter game that we played a lot when we were inside, and like a Wednesday night was our campaign game. But those who followed me for a long time know the campaign games in our house are like dead in the water. We start off really great, and then we just run out of steam very quickly.
Yeah, that happens a lot. But you can play a couple scenarios, and I still think it works okay.
Mm. Yeah.
All right, that's the first one. Second, we have Clank, a deck-building adventure. Clank, the first game that took deck building to a new place, really, in a long time. Very popular, spanking Clank in Space came out. Clank Legacy just recently came out. I really like this. It's a push your luck game where you run as far into the dungeon as you possibly can and then get out with as much treasure before the thing collapses. I feel like almost everyone has played this. That's not really true. But, Jen, I'm going to say you have played this because it seems so popular.
I have. And you will chuckle at this because the person who taught me this game was the Brant.
Oh, it wasn't Fleet the Dice game. Okay, cool.
It wasn't Fleet the Dice game. No, we learned this over at his house. He had a yearly like mini con at his house. And I learned this there, and I promptly creamed everyone. I'm very proud of this fact because in the old days I didn't win games as much, but deck building games are my jam. I call it like shopping, the board game, because, you're collecting stuff and then you have money and you can maximize your coins and points, but I love Clank. Love Clank. Love Mr. Whiskers, too, because he looks like a ginger jerk. And sorry, folks, there is no ginger jerk today at the library. That's my cat.
Cats aren't allowed at the library.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I love Clank.
Yeah, I recommend everyone get this. I shouldn't say everyone, but most people get it. There's lots of expansions you can get if you want, but you don't need them. I think it's just a lot of fun by itself.
Yeah.
All right, now we're jumping to It's a Wonderful World. Dystopian future card building game, tableau building game, kind of like Race for the Galaxy. This one has actually really hit the market a little bit more after it came out. In fact, they just launched It's a Wonderful Kingdom was on Kickstarter, which is a similar thing, but for 1 to 2. See, now I'm like trying to go back through all Jen's segments to see if she's ever talked about this and compared it to a book. It feels like one that you would do that to, so I'll say yes, you've played it.
I'm just surprising the heck out of you, Tom. Woo! I haven't played it, no.
I think you would like it.
Yeah, we were talking about this last night because Lucky Duck has the rights to it, I guess, in America over here.
Right.
And for a long time, it was really hard to get. It would really be in my wheelhouse, this game. Not sure what book I would pair with it, but yeah, we've talked about it for forever, and I've said, but yeah.
Alrighty, well, yeah. So this is a good one. I was just looking at it before we did this. I'm sorting the library out, so It's a Wonderful World came across my desk, and I thought, man, I need to get this one back to the table. All right, next, Rush MD. This is a timed cooperative game where you're trying to heal patients. I don't think many people have played this one at all, unfortunately. I don't think it's hit that well, so I'm going to say you have not played it.
We do love cooperative games in our house. We do love real-time games in our house as well, and we do like David Turcey's designs for the most part. But yeah, it's another one. I was looking at it before we started, and it looks really great.
Yeah, the thing knows you're here. It's showing me cats.
I know.
I liked the first one, which was Restaurant Rush or Rush. Oh, what was it called now? Kitchen Rush. Kitchen Rush. And they just redid Kitchen Rush. There's a new version of that coming out. But I like this one much better. I don't know why. I'm not a fan of hospital like TV shows and things like that, but this just felt super thematic, and you're actually helping people, and it doesn't do it in a grotesque way. It's more silly than serious.
Yeah, the look of it, I think, is really cool. I don't know if people are just gravitating more towards Dice Hospital, because that's the only other hospital one that I can think of. And we do actually have Kitchen Rush here at the library. Someone donated it. And haven't gotten to play that one yet either.
All right.
I love unique themes.
I do. And I wish there was more doctor games that weren't about parking. Okay. Last one, Zendo, the game of ultimate logic. So Zendo, for the longest time, was out of print. It just came back in print from Looney Labs. Looney Labs makes a lot of silly games, but this one is actually quite serious, where you use pyramids, or in the new versions, you use all kinds of shapes, wedges and things like that, to make a rule that people solve. Let's see here. So you said, let me see. Yes, 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 no, no. This is the tie. I'm going to say if you have played this, it's only been online, so I'll say no.
I have not played it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I should say all right, because you should play it.
Yeah, it's another one that looks really cool, and I agree. It doesn't quite fit Looney Labs' game profile of what they have, but those pictures make it look really interesting. And I love games, especially ones that I can bring to the library that are not language dependent and kind of have color blindness. They're friendly for people who are colorblind too. Yeah, abstract games and me sometimes are really hit and miss.
Yeah, well, this one is an interesting game because it's the kind of game that people can like pause by the table and they watch people playing it, and then they can just sit down and play the next round. When we first played this, we played this on the Dice Tower Cruise, I think, or not the first time I played it, but I was teaching some people there, and people just kept coming by and kind of getting in, and then out of the game, just trying to figure out the rules. People like to figure that out. I've always been a big fan of word ones, like you'll say Sally, Jenny, and are lemmings, and Susan's not a lemming, and you got to figure out what lemmings are, and eventually you figure out that lemmings are things that have double letters in their names.
Oh,
so I played. There's like an online version of this that we've played where we've also played with board games. Like you have to figure out what the rule is. The board game has to have dice, or the board game was made in 1986 or something like that. You have to figure out a common rule. I haven't done that for a while. Maybe I'll start it up again.
I can imagine, though, in person, this being very dynamic just with all of the pieces.
It is, but there's also a lot of really quiet moments at the table. Because everyone's just sitting there looking at all the different formations, trying to figure out which ones meet the rule and which ones do not.
Yeah, well, it looks very interesting. And you said quiet moments. Oh, that'd be perfect for the library.
It would be fantastic if behind you we saw some crazy thing like on a... Oh, that wouldn't be good for you, though. All right, so those are the games, folks. Jenn, thanks for joining us. Where can people find you if they want to see you on a net?
Well, almost weekly on Board Game Breakfast with From the Page to the Table. They can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter with the Board Game Librarian.
All right, I think I should have there was just you on screen. Oh, now our names are mixed up. I will move them. Now the names are correct. That's called editing on the fly, folks. Jenn, thanks so much for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you like these games. These are fantastic games. All 5 of these games are in the Dice Tower library. So, I think they are. Yeah, they are. So, that's it for this show. We'll be back at 3 o'clock for the most exciting marble races this side of the Rocky Mountains. Jenn, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, thank you, Tom.
And
thanks, everyone.
We'll see you all next time. Have fun reading books, lots of books.